Excuse me. Shit.
Stomach's grumbling.
We are live. Oh, yeah.
Why? Hello. So quick we are live. Not even ready.
We're not.
But are you guys ready? Are you guys all ready for this?
I'm
I'm
ready.
100% ready.
Sure.
Ready and
100%
excited.
Ready. Ready and excited. Freshly showered. Well, Gil is freshly showered in sweat. So,
It's mostly sweat.
Say that
He's
again.
dying up there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yep.
bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And I don't know if you
Like-
went through the metal detector, Damien, but you're over there showing them guns.
I
I don't know
am.
if that went off when you were
They'll
there.
get, they'll get you every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all right. Hello, all, and welcome to Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. I am Joey, one of your hosts, and since things are starting to heat up and we're almost heading into summer, I'd like to introduce the other hosts of Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. With me are the hottest things to hit the screen. Speaking of Damien. First off, from Life Beyond 6 Feet podcast, Damien Coppertone.
What's happening? How's everybody?
One of the hosts of Black Cat Report, Gil Banana Boat.
It's technically pronounced banana hammock, but
Banana Boat Hammock.
it's okay. It's a common
And-
mistake.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'll get it right next time for the next episode. And last, but for certain not least, the host, runner, creator, etc. of Paranormal Girl podcast, Kristen Sunbum.
Sunbone?
Bum.
Bum.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. I like it.
I-
Hi, guys.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I always like to state the obvious. Those are also brands of sunscreen. So,
Thank you for stating
Oh.
the obvious.
Makes sense.
yeah, I had to
Makes
state the
sense.
obvious
It
in
does.
case you don't
I've
know.
never heard of Sunbum. Is that a
I haven't
baby?
either.
A baby sun cream?
No, it's like the organic stuff.
Touche.
I
too
was
rich for my
running out of
blood.
ones that I knew. So I knew 3. It's bad when you have to Google it. Well, before we get into tonight's topic, I'd like to let everyone share what they're drinking. D-Booze, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, it's nothing paranormally themed, and since this is kind of a special episode, especially to me, if you can tell by the shirt, the show is going to be dedicated to my best friend Keith Beller, who 14 years ago was shot and killed in the line of duty, and so I decided to drink what he liked to drink, and I'm going with Bud Light. So,
Oh,
Hell yeah.
for you, bud.
yep.
Aw.
Yeah. Also, just a good, solid drink when you're outside and it's hot, and
It
it's
is.
summertime.
It really is.
It
It's
is.
refreshing.
Yeah.
It's usually one of my go-tos. So,
Heck yeah. G-Booze, what are you drinking this evening?
I am
Besides what-
drinking. I'm drinking High Pitch Mosaic IPA by Highwire, which is locally brewed.
nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, delicious, refreshing, crisp. You'll see it sweat out of me soon.
Yeah.
You're looking a little shiny, a little sheeny over there.
Un
Mhm,
poquito.
Gil. Ooh,
mhm.
Yeah.
get you one of these.
Actually, give me.
one of these fans here. There you go.
There you go.
It's warm
Kristen
here in the Pacific Northwest. Jeez.
on point with the
Yeah.
fan, with the mini
Mhm.
fan.
Wish I
Yeah.
could share, guys. Wish I could share.
Okay, Booze, what are you drinking this evening?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Joey. So I have an assortment tonight because I needed to get my energy up a little bit. So this is non-alcoholic, but it is just Ghost, the energy drink. It's
Love it.
orange cream.
Yeah.
It tastes like orange cream. It's so good.
Mm.
That's
And
my favorite
then-
Sounds
one.
good.
For my paranormally themed alcoholic beverages, I've got Squatch Smuggler by
Hell yeah.
No Lie. And big one of the founders, Mortal Bloom.
Nice.
Mm,
That sounds awesome.
That's what I got tonight, guys.
Is Squatch smuggling, or are you smuggling Squatch?
I think it's supposed to be smuggling. It's on a little, you can't really make out the picture, but it's on a little like jet boat with things flying out the back. It might be drugs.
Oh, it's smuggling drugs for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
possible. Entirely possible.
Lost opportunity if not.
Mm-hmm. The DEA can't touch them. Well, I'd like to remind you out there, if you aren't drinking, what are you thinking? And to introduce mine, I'm just drinking a Mexican Coke, so I don't know what I'm thinking, but just nice, refreshing Mexican Coke at the moment. Unlike Sasquatch, it is just Coca-Cola. Um, Anyways, we have an amazing topic for you all this evening and have gotten some really good responses from you, all in the form of stories that we'll share throughout the episode. We'll also open up the lines a little later on so that you can call in and share your story live on air. But first, D-Booze, can you let them know what the topic is for the next episode on July 5th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time?
So, in a month, on July 5th, this one is going to be hopefully a really good episode. I'm pretty excited about it, and I know Gil is. I can tell by the excitement on his face right now. He's pretty excited about this one. This is going to be an all cryptids episode, red, white, and cryptid to keep up with the 4th of July theme. Um, Bigfoot, Jersey Devil, Chupacabras, however the hell you say it, anything that you that is crypt. I can't talk. I've only had like 2 days off since our last episode, so my brain's not all there. Um, Anything cryptid. I can't say the fucking word. Cryptid related.
Cryptid
There,
related.
there we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Um, and I think Gil had kind of tossed out a few different ideas about kind of what all we want to do for this episode.
Yeah. So, if you've ever had a cryptid sighting, if you have heard a tale from someone else who's had a cryptid sighting, if you have a local legend of a cryptid wherever you're from or wherever you live that you feel like doesn't get as much love or airtime as it should, we want to hear about it.
Mhm.
And if not any of those things, we'd love to hear your craziest cryptid conspiracies. What's the wildest belief specifically that you're like kind of almost into and might believe? What's that shit you're insecure about? That's what we want to know. But
Mm.
generally anything cryptid related. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be
Again.
fun.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Hell
That's going to
yeah.
be on July 5th, the first Saturday in July at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't remember if you guys remember. I think it was like the second or third episode. What was the conspiracy theory episode? Or excuse me, now I got a drink. Theory episode that we did back in the day. I think it was the third episode, and somebody talked about the
Jackalope.
The
I was just
jackalope.
thinking
Jackalope,
about that.
yeah.
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 Yes, down in Arizona. I just edited that
Mhm.
audio the other day for a clip. They were down in Arizona riding with their friend, riding on four-wheelers with their friend when they like looked over and saw these massive, like 2.5, 3 foot tall jackalopes just
Mhm.
hopping around. And they stopped and they were like, "What the hell is that?" And the friend's like, "Oh, they're all over down here." It's like, what? What the
Oh
hell?
yeah.
Those things, those old things. No, you should see what comes out at night. Yeah, like
Right.
God, don't.
Who knows, honestly? Everything. And I would like to say that I remember that from you editing it, but only reason I remember it is because it was something I actually thought could be possible, and I had to drink from that because I made that random rule at the beginning of the episode. Ah, anyways,
Those days.
those days. Before we introduce tonight's topic, I do want to do a first of a kind for Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. A paranormal shout out. And I told nobody about this, so I'm gonna do this. And I had two different ways I wanted to do it, so I'm going to do both ways. And today's shout out is going to Robert the Bruce, who actually died on this day in 1329. R.I.P. Robert the Bruce. So we're shouting out to Beyond the Grave. This is what the paranormal shout out's going to. We're shouting out to Beyond the Grave. So,
Okay. All right.
okay.
Shout out to Robert
Go,
Mhm.
Robert.
Bruce.
I don't
Hello.
know.
Yeah. Hope we hope
Okay.
you're resting well, Robert, and we hope you're
Mm-hmm.
not in hell. What? Who is Robert?
Robert the Bruce. Okay, we're not. This is too much history. Robert the Bruce was one of the kings of Scotland who led against the British.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, tonight's topic is, and I'm going to skip over the second try I was going to do. We'll do that next time. Tonight's topic is paranormal stories of first responders. And we have got some heart stopping, maybe heart stealing, hair raising, heat making, and downright heart throbbing stories on plate for you. So let's start them off if you guys want to. Start off our stories first. You guys want to do that first, or?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. You want to kick
Yeah.
it off with a story?
Let's go for it. All right, K-Booze, you got the first story.
I do. I do. I might have to turn up some lights in here. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So this story is from Badge 1171. I've been with the department in this little Arkansas town for 8 years now. Started green as hell, full of fire, and thinking I'd be chasing real bad guys every day. Truth is, most of the time it's barking dogs, drunk uncles throwing punches at Thanksgiving, or meth heads screaming at trees. But in my second year, when I still thought I had this job figured out, I got a call that screwed with my head in a way nothing else ever has. It was just past midnight, slow as hell. I was the only unit on shift, riding solo like usual. Dispatch crackles in with this weird one. Anonymous caller says she heard someone crying out in the woods near the edge of town. Said there were lights moving through the trees. Not headlights, floating lights. Now, I ain't the superstitious type, and I sure as shit wasn't about to go chasing ghost stories, but I figured maybe it was kids screwing around or someone high off their ass. Either way, I rolled out. It's one of those back roads, unpaved, lined with nothing but thick-ass woods. No streetlights, barely wide enough for one car. I pull up and kill the lights. Real quiet out there. Fog thick enough to chew. And then I hear it. Crying. Low, broken, like someone trying not to be heard but still desperate. Definitely sounded like a woman. I called out, "Sheriff's Department, you okay?" No answer. Just more crying. I grabbed my flashlight and started walking toward the sound. That's when I saw them. These blue-white lights just floating between the trees. Not flickering lanterns, not solid like car lights, just gliding. Silent. I stopped dead in my tracks. That's when the sound cut out. No crying, no bugs, just dead fucking silence. I called it in, told dispatch I might have found someone that needed backup. But my radio? Static. Just a wall of it. Not even a click. Then I heard me. My own damn voice, coming from the woods. Just ahead. Repeating exactly what I just said into the radio. Same tone, same words, like someone had recorded it and was playing it back to me. I'll be honest, I've been in bar fights, meth busts, chased down assholes with knives, but nothing's ever made my blood run cold like that. I shouted again, louder this time, gun drawn, heart thudding like a damn jackhammer. "Come out where I can see you." Nothing. The lights? Gone. Just blinked out like someone flipped a switch. The fog vanished. And the woods snapped back to life. Crickets, frogs, everything. Like none of it had happened. Radio started working again like nothing was wrong. Backup showed up 20 minutes later. We combed the area. Nothing. Not a damn footprint. No signs of a person. And you know what? I never got a name for the caller. We couldn't trace the call. No one ever claimed it. To this day, I don't know what the hell I saw or heard. I just know it wasn't right. It wasn't normal. Now when a call comes from that part of town, I wait for backup. Or I pretend I didn't hear it. Judge me all you want. I know what I saw. And I ain't going back out there alone. Ever.
Oof.
Wow.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Terrifying, though.
Dang.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
There's nothing like that silence, too.
Right.
And me and Gil, for recently, have not been able to get silence due to the cicadas that have popped out, the 17-year
Oh.
cicadas.
Nice.
And you realize how not silent it is out there, but to realize how silent it could be is just ugh, with just no noise. It always seems like that's a predator, almost seems like that's
Mm-hmm.
when a predator's coming,
Right.
is when there's like no noise.
Now, don't like bobcats sometimes sound like a crying female
Women screaming.
or
Yeah, I've
screaming?
heard
Mountain
that. Yeah.
mountain lions
Mm-hmm.
specifically, like they sound exactly like, I don't know, a 5 or 6 year old like little girl just like screaming bloody murder, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and you only hear it when you're in mountains, so it's just echoing through the canyons. Like,
Hmm.
it's horrifying. I have a story that even for me is inappropriate to share live on air, involving multiple substances in Northern California with a mountain lion. I'm still here. It's okay. But yes, it's hard. It's horrible to experience,
Mm-hmm.
no matter your state of mind. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
but
That
there was a there was a trigger for me in that, which was hearing their own voice.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
yeah.
That is, I don't know, if there's local variations outside of like Appalachia here, but that's like a notorious no. Like, that is a very specific, like, thing here. There's a few things. If it sounds like your friend, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
um, but more so if you hear your own voice, which I don't know in a situation where you wouldn't run from that, but like, yeah, that's just like a nope. Just turn the fuck around. Leave the woods. Get the hell away.
Well,
Right.
that's yeah, y'all. I mean, Appalachian lore. That you guys go deep with this stuff. Some of the creepiest things I've ever heard has to do with the lore, specifically around woods, specifically at night. But is that like when someone's hearing somebody that they know or their own voice? That's a mimic, right? Like, do you know? Is that
I
more
think so,
so
yeah.
like pop culture thing, or is that Appalachian lore?
Well, that's really old like lore around here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it kind of got adapted into it and like became pop culture, but
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff where it's, if you know that you just left your friend at camp 20 feet away and you took the shovel and toilet paper, to go off, and then you hear your friend's voice from the opposite direction,
Mm-hmm.
run.
Mm-hmm.
Run,
Right.
like, yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
specifically, um, don't respond to it. I guess that's an important safety feature. So don't say, hello, hello, who's there? Like, no, that's like you just open the
Don't
door,
acknowledge.
Yep.
basically. Yeah.
Never
Don't
acknowledge.
acknowledge, just keep walking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys saw the movie Annihilation. I think I kind of referenced this a lot, but if you've watched the movie Annihilation, you see there's this like mutated bear, and it just mimics the voice of the I think it's Natalie Portman's friends, and it's just like evolved bear, and it has like barely any like lips. It's so creepy, and it like lures them into this room. Ugh.
Hmm.
I've not seen it.
Kind of idea of a mimic, I guess.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
mimicking them, yeah,
Yeah.
copying them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Moral of the story: never follow your own voice or even your friend's voice. You know what? Friendships, yeah, they come and go. So, I mean, if your friend's gone, just leave them. Just leave them. I think that's the moral of the story.
That's right,
Yeah.
Julia. It does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Julia Barnes.
Oh God, who's that coming from?
Dogs freaking
It's
out.
not me. Okay. It's like
Well,
that.
all
That gave me
right.
chills. Just the perfect moment. Okay.
It's
Mm-hmm.
Moving
coming
on.
for you.
Yeah. If we want to hop into that second story, sounds like a mimic orb. Oh, yeah.
That's,
Cool.
Mm.
Yeah. D-Booze, if you want to go ahead and run through with the second story that we got, I think you're next in line.
D-Booze.
While he's pulling it up, we
The
will
dog.
just
The
sit
the,
here.
Yeah.
the dog's barking out here. So
no worries.
If
If folks get a chance to share the stream on your socials real quick,
Yeah.
the link to the stream, try to get some more folks in. We always spend, for anybody that's showing up right now, we always kind of just spend the first half an hour sharing a couple stories here and there, but also just kind of shooting the shit. That's how live streams work. Not everybody tunes in
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So just as the show will pick up, and you can play a part in helping it succeed. So if you could post this, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. And if you know any first responders, so doctors, well, yeah, that counts. Doctors, paramedics, I, firefighters, police,
Hmm.
uh,
Sheriff's
I
office.
guess
Yeah.
fast food workers, depending on how desperate you are, sheriffs, yeah, anything like that. The folks that show up first when shit pops off, um, reach out to them, ask them if they would tune in or if they would share the show, because we are going live here in about like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So did I talk enough to let the
Yes.
dog stop barking? I was trying to, I was buying time.
Yeah. Well, good
We're all
job. Good
hearing
job, Gil. You
them.
did great. They're doing.
Tried.
D-Booze, are you ready? You
You're
were
on
on
mute,
mute,
D.
D-Booze. You
I'm
might
still
want.
on
There you
mute.
go.
What the?
Yep.
I
Can you?
unmuted him. All right, so
Oh,
Thank
all
you.
right. Well, let's try that again. Uh,
all right, bud.
are we good? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We
All
can hear you
right.
now.
yes.
Um, so this one's actually for my buddy Lee. I've known Lee for 3, 4 years now. He's actually a paranormal investigator and a paramedic. Um, so I'd reached out to him and asked if he had any strange stuff that's happened while he's been on the job. And he's like, I've got one that I've already got prepared for something else. He's like, I'll send it your way. So I'm a flight paramedic. See, I can't talk. I am a flight paramedic currently. However, when I was working on the ambulance in rural Tennessee community, I had an experience that I still cannot explain. In about 2016, I was working for a small town community on an ambulance on Interstate 40. My partner and I were working the station in Bucksnort, Tennessee, which is at mile marker 152 off Interstate 40. We got the call for a car wreck that hit a tree at a high rate of speed at the mile marker 152, which was our exit. We got in the unit and we asked dispatch if the vehicle was traveling west or east and if the accident was east or west of us. Dispatch kept telling us that multiple callers were calling in with different directions so they could not narrow it down. Being so rural, it would take first responders more time than us to get on scene, so my partner and I decided to try eastbound to see if we could find the accident scene. We got on I 40 eastbound, and after traveling about 2 miles, we decided it was not the right direction, so we went to the first available turnaround and start back towards our 152 exit to go west to see if we could find the wreck. Once we got back to the 152 overpass, we started going westbound. After passing our exit at a excuse me, after passing our exit at about a fourth of a mile west, we noticed on the other side of the road an old man on the interstate shoulder with a bicycle. He was standing there and was waving his hands. It was almost like he was wearing a robe of some sort and had a long, white, straight beard and was waving his hands at us. We still did not see any signs of a wreck or anything at this point, so we continued westbound until we made it to the next exit to turn around again and come back eastbound. When we got back to the point where we saw the man waving at us, he was nowhere to be seen. We pulled the ambulance off the right shoulder of the road and off the roadway. Down in an embankment was a man lying in tall grass. We immediately got out, and the man was obviously hurt and was unable to tell us what happened. There was a blood trail that led into the tree line, and where I followed it, I discovered that behind the tree line, out of the sight from the interstate traffic, was the car that we finally found the car. Let me see. My partner was staying with him while I went beyond the trees to make sure there was no one else in the car. When I saw the car, I still have no idea how this man made it out alive. The car was traveling sideways and struck a tree on the driver's side, pushing the steering column into the passenger seat. His shoe was wedged between the tree and the back of the driver's seat. All the windows of the vehicle were intact, so there was no way he could have gotten out. After assessing the patient, we called for a helicopter to intercept to fly him to Nashville, which was the closest trauma center. The patient was conscious, so I asked him where the man on the bicycle was. He said he did not know what I was talking about and did not remember any man. After the patient was airlifted, I spoke to the local sheriff's office and the Tennessee Highway Patrol, telling them of the man. None of them had ever seen a man in the area matching that description, especially not an older man riding his bicycle on the interstate. We never saw the old man with the bicycle again. That helped us. Wait, hold on. We never saw the old man again with the bicycle that helped us because the patient's car being behind the tree line. This is confusing the shit out of me.
Mhm.
We never saw the old man with the bicycle again. That helped us because the patient's car being behind the tree line and the patient laying off the shoulder down a slight embankment, it was near impossible to see any signs of an MVA.
Mhm.
After the call, my partner and I tried to wrap our heads around the call and debrief to each other, and we both, to this day, are wondering if the man was there or something more that was helping us find this patient who needed help. Also, while back at the ambulance station, we were cleaning the ambulance inside because we used a lot of medical equipment and there was a lot of blood everywhere. While we were cleaning, we found a baseball cap in the truck that we had not noticed before with the phrase, God's not dead. We had been in the ambulance all day long and never noticed the baseball cap until this call was over. I did ask a previous crew member if they had seen it and they did not remember a patient having it, but had not seen it since their transport where they remembered seeing it. This is so confusing.
Mhm.
And no one had seen it again until my partner and I found it while cleaning the ambulance. So to this day, I find myself scratching my head on this call. And then he said he sent a picture of the baseball cap, but that didn't actually come through in the email. So
Okay. Okay. So a lot
Yeah.
of parts of that. So the guy in the robe with the bicycle that waved them down. Are we talking about a third man factor here? Like
maybe,
they couldn't get a hold of the
like,
guy again after like they
yeah,
saw him waving him over here.
yeah.
The wreck
Apparently
that they.
that's, and I remember him telling me this story like in person.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, we saw this man, and when we turned around to come back to that area, he was nowhere to be found, and nobody remembers seeing him.
Huh.
So it was
Hmm.
like you said, that kind of that third man factor saying, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
there's somebody here. You need to come help," and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that man, they may have never found that car, and the person in the car may have died.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like you
So
said,
it's
you could not see this wreck from the
uh
road. Yeah.
so it was pretty wild when he told me in person, and just reading through it again, I was like, that's just wild as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think about? What do you guys think about the hat? The message on the hat.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
they have a
for those who may be religious, they're obviously going to think that's a sign from God or whatever, saying I sent him here to help you find this guy. So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and and for all they know, it may have been the patient's hat that was in the wreck, and they just didn't realize he was holding it or had it on him, and it just fell out. I mean, it's just one of those. It might be just a coincidence type thing,
Sure.
but if nobody
Mm.
remembers seeing it, even the people before that shift, it's like, where did the hat come from? So
True.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh,
K-Boos,
that's
I have a question for you on this the third man.
yeah.
I guess
'Cause
uh,
I did
wanted
just
to say
cover this, so I was like, oh, okay,
yeah, I'm not wanting to say syndrome, but I won't not gonna say syndrome. The third man
You can't say
uh
syndrome. It's both.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in general, is there like a certain style of like third man that's always there, or is it just like a random person that they're put like this third man was in a robe riding a bicycle?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a typical thing for that, or is there just like, oh, it's just they just see some random humanoid
It's
being?
yeah. Usually it's just the most random. See, what's interesting is a lot of the third man factor stories that I did read. They're a lot more so like these folks that interject themselves into people's lives to help like them to save them or keep them from like taking the step into traffic or whatever. It's a very personal like one-on-one like because of that person you are now safe or saved.
Mm-hmm.
And these
Hmm.
people they describe these people as just like kind of generic, not generic or ugly or like mundane looking, but like like they would fit into a crowd pretty easily. Maybe their
Hmm.
eyes are very striking, but
average.
just very, yeah, just kind of like average.
Mm.
And I've read all kinds of stories from very old men with like shocks of white hair to like young girls that suddenly appear, disappear, like all over the whole scale. This guy, he stood out so much. Like you would notice that just some guy with a bicycle wearing a robe on the highway,
Mm-hmm.
flapping him down like crazy. Like he this one stands out quite a bit, in my opinion. I don't know,
Hmm.
it's kind of out of the ordinary, but like that seems like what he was. Just the
Right.
third
Mm-hmm.
man, the angel from nowhere, the stranger from nowhere. I don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
And the
stranger who
fact that and the
poses no
fact
danger.
that and the fact that both of them saw him, not just one of
Mm-hmm.
them,
Yeah. Yeah.
makes it more
Yeah.
intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Could you imagine trying to write that in the report and just being like, no, no, I swear there was an old man riding a bicycle. This was and I'm trying to
Down
think.
the
This was
highway.
late at night, correct? This
Yeah.
was 4 a.m. Like
Yeah.
4 a.m. Okay. Not normal, obviously. Old man riding a bike in a robe. I mean, granted, if unless he was going no, because I guess in Tennessee they stopped selling alcohol at 12. I guess so. An old man wouldn't be riding down the bike with a robe, At least for a reference in mind. But um, I don't know. That's a very interesting part of that story.
Maybe it was Santa Claus on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
All of the spots to go.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to
Yeah,
get
Whoever it
because
White
there's
was.
Claws.
because there's that nothing in Bucksnort. I mean, at that exit, it's a gas station and two porn shops.
Sounds
Just
about
saying,
right.
there's nothing there.
I mean, with a name like Bucksnort, I'm not demeaning any of the people that live there because they are
Right.
probably great people. The town's name
It's just
sounds like you're doing a bunch of coke, honestly. Taking a buck and snorting. I mean, right? Sorry.
it it's. I mean, it's literally nothing there. So it's. I don't know. I just always thought it was an interesting story, and when he
Hmm.
sent it, I was like, I remember you telling me this.
It's a great
Like,
story.
so
Yeah.
awesome.
Gil, do we want to open up them phone lines and get some see if we
Yeah.
can get some callers calling in?
Let's see what we can do here.
Yeah. So if you have a story, or know a first responder or anything like that, please call in. The number is on the screen. Gil will also repeat it, and there is also a very easy way to call in. Gil, if you want to let them know how to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So you can dial 208-717-1611, or you can go to ghost.beer/call. Super easy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't make it easier. But yeah.
Very
And the
simple.
topic is yeah. And the topic is first responders paranormal stories. So call us. Trying to get Dragon Paw right now, who's in our chat, by the way. Shout out to Dragon Paw.
Shout out to
Um
Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Paw. Thank you for showing
I
up.
knew that
Mm-hmm.
I knew he worked in some sort of health related field, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I don't know if y'all saw that in the chat, but I was like, didn't you? And he's like, yeah, hospice. And I'm like, that's the opposite of a first response. Like that is the far end. But
Last response.
we yeah. But we did just do deathbed confessions last month, and we
Hmm.
did say that we would take late stories.
We
So
did.
Mm-hmm.
saying no pressure, Dragon Paw, but putting you on the spot, bud.
Yeah, that was an
No
excellent,
pressure.
excellent episode.
Yeah,
Great
Yeah.
we
stories.
had one call that made
Mm-hmm.
everything worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have asked for a better call to come
Oh,
through.
she
Right.
is wonderful. Yeah.
Oh my
That
god.
was so cool.
Yeah, Lilith. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of that, and speaking of this, while we're waiting on a call, I want to put you all on the spot. Okay? I'm gonna put you all on the spot. Is that okay? No, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's okay or not. I'm gonna do it anyways. Tell me, for all of you, because I know we had just released on BCR, we released a kind of like a mixtape on the favorite calls of B3, and so I want you guys each one of you to think on what your favorite call was and so far has been on this show. And while we're waiting on a
Mm.
call, we'll just let me know. You know, feel free to jump in if you have one already.
I mean, for me, it's probably a tie between the DG story because that was just obviously that was our I think our very first
Dollar
call,
General. Yeah.
and it was just a
Big
wild
sperm.
story. And the call from my friend Kayla about seeing the kid in the cemetery that
Mm.
was wild too.
Mm-hmm. And that was episode 2, correct? Episode 1, episode 2.
Now that one was just a couple of months ago. The cemetery call.
Mm.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was the yeah,
where she seen
cemetery.
the boy in the tree and he jumped down and comes over there and talking to her and leads her
Hmm.
to his grave. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that one was pretty wild.
Dang.
I'm surprised you didn't say the glowing Bigfoot.
Oh
I
my
was
That
God, is that
waiting.
yours, K-Boos?
It
I
was
thought that was going to be all
incredible.
of ours. Excuse me.
Life
N-
changing.
No, D
that
D
one's
did. D said a tie, so I got a tie too. It is, glowing Bigfoot member. Um,
Yep.
but I guess I'd say my sister's
Classic.
story about her
Yeah.
communications
yeah, that one was good too.
with her, deceased husband, John. Hey, John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was, yeah, because it involved like a group of us. Like it involved, like I was there when that story took
Right,
place, and got to
Mm.
see these things for myself. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not just a crazy ghost lady that like
right.
makes up stuff that happens to me. Everybody was there, so that's personal
Aw.
favorite of mine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do love to that she called in while driving a tractor.
On the
Yeah,
tractor, yeah.
That was incredible.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
She's
nobody
like, I can't
believed
talk
her.
long because I was like, oh,
Like, what are you talking about?
fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Um,
well, what about you,
get
Joey?
this, yeah, get
Oh
Joey.
man, it's putting me on the spot. I honestly, I mean, it is really hard to beat the Bigfoot glowing member story, and I think I will have to say that made me laugh. And the worst part about that is it didn't go live because
Mm-mm.
YouTube shut down. YouTube knew that was coming and was like, in more ways than one, and was like, I got to shut them down. I can't let this story be told until later on, until pre-recorded.
Yep.
That's
It comes
right.
out,
Oh,
and it was like,
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah.
have to wait. Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Yeah, yeah. YouTube was
Yeah,
being shady with us that night. Just
it
Mm-hmm.
was.
kicked it off. Kicked
yeah.
us
It,
out.
it literally kicked. He's like, and Bigfoot was coming down the hill, and then that was the end of the live stream. It
Yeah, that was crazy.
was
Everybody was left
fantastic.
with a cliffhanger.
I still really wish, because he had mentioned that it was a guy who was just joining a Bigfoot organization, like research organization, and he had received this email from across state. He was in Texas. This took place in, I want to say it was either Tennessee or Kentucky, and so he had gotten this report, and so he sent it to Bigfoot researchers over in wherever Tennessee or Kentucky, and never got a response. And I still really wish I could see what that email said because I don't know how to hell. She's like, "Hey
Right.
everybody, I'm also a Bigfoot researcher. So got this story about Bigfoot with a glowing member that has the hots for this woman who lives on a hill by herself.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go investigate that?"
Oh
Um,
man.
Yeah, I
Freaking
think that's
crazy.
it. Gil, how about you?
Yes. It's a tie between the confession that we had on the last episode, or
Mm-hmm.
the two stories from the minister. Both stories were fantastic. The second one was just absolutely lovely, though, about the
Mm-hmm.
sweet little
Mm-hmm.
old lady who, on her
Right.
deathbed, uh, her last her deathbed confession was that when she was like 5, she stole a Coca-Cola, and she had just been
Oh yeah.
carrying that weight her whole life. Just
Mm-hmm.
so adorable.
So
Um,
sweet.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna ruin the surprise for the first story because that there's like 5 twists you don't see coming in that one.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's it, it's either
So if you want to
that.
know, you need to go back and watch that episode.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's about 40 minutes in. Um, but yeah, so it's either that one or man, I still really love from our first episode from the haunted workplace stories. Christian, it was your friend who sharing the stories about working at the Air Force's museum
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah, that
Dayton,
one was.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, how like security guards like walking by at night would see her like click, 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 and like turn and look over at these historic planes, and it's the machine gun barrel spinning like there's somebody trying to shoot them.
Dude.
Oh. like,
Mhm.
like, fuck.
Right. Yeah.
that's that's a hard one to beat for me. But yeah.
Yeah. We've had
Dang.
so many good ones over the
We've had
last
so many
year
good ones.
plus. My goodness,
Yeah.
guys.
We've been a year? A year?
Over a year.
Over.
Mhm.
Over a year.
We
Yeah.
had a birthday
yeah.
party, remember?
No. No.
We
Things
were
go by
wearing
so
hats.
fast.
I gave you the comically large hat.
You did, but I don't remember.
You just gave it back to me like 2 days ago.
I know. I was wondering what that was for. Still, I was wondering what that was for. Honestly, no.
Back when you
Time
drank on
passes.
episodes.
So you see
Yeah.
first responders watching right now. I
Yes.
see quite a few of you in the chat here. You know, if you're waiting to call, we've gotten so many calls from all walks of life. And we just cherish it so much. We cherish these stories. And some of these are just really jaw dropping. So, you know, don't hesitate. Give us a call 208 717 1611. We would love to hear your story. And I think I've said this a million times, like just in, you know, talking up the show before heading up to it. Like, anonymous is perfectly okay. Some people don't want to share their name. You don't have to. That's cool.
Yeah, we're here for you, and we're. Oh, yeah, Sherry Bennett just said hey, so we want to
Yeah.
say hi back. Hey yo.
Sherry.
That's
Yeah.
my
Are you
mom.
sure?
That's my mom.
Aw.
Hi, mom.
I do booze, mom. Well, this next story, we'll go ahead and hop into it, see if we can get the next story going. This next story, Gil, is for you, and it is a rather long story. So if you want to interrupt Gil, please do. He loves being interrupted. And that's not being sarcastic. He loves being interrupted. I do it all sometimes on our podcast together.
All right. Take a breath. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette and come back to read this. when
Yeah, he's got a long one.
Joey, when you sent this to me, and I was like, I was reading it and I was kind of editing it, to be spoken out loud. I'm just moving and I'm going through and I'm going through, and I smoke through one cigarette. I'm going, smoke through two cigarettes. I'm going, smoke through three. I'm like, how fucking long is this?
It's a long story. So it's going to be a really good story. So, yeah, if you want to interrupt, go ahead. Yeah.
It's,
if you want to
it's a
interrupt,
long and
now's the
good
time.
Yes, please call in 208 717 1611. Cool. Let me figure out where it starts. There we go. Yeah. This is a story from Wii U Wagon. Like Wii U, Wii U. It took me a while to figure that out. Anyways, this is from Wii U Wagon from TikTok. There's only been one time in my life that I can say I saw a ghost front and center, and it was at work. I'm a paramedic working for a small county-based ambulance service where there's only one crew at a time at the station. Before I start the story, I want to preface I have always believed in ghosts, but I was always skeptical of people who had said they had seen them. The paranormal experiences, sorry, the paranormal experiences were limited to things moving that shouldn't, hearing voices or seeing things out of the corner of my eye, or even getting what appeared to be partial apparitions or anomalies in photos. It's well known that our station has a ghost. Beyond that, I knew nothing. I was relatively new to the agency when I learned of our residential ghost, An EMT was sitting by the computers and partially in the doorway to the kitchen. She tells me that there was a ghost at the station. She tells me it's a little girl in a dress and that she's, quote, playing peekaboo with me right now in the kitchen. She's a troublemaker around here, end quote. Of course, I thought this EMT was making stuff up or just trying to be some edgy kid. I laughed it off and moved on with the night. Shift change came and went, and that EMT went home, leaving me and my partner alone for the night. My partner and I both went to bed around the same time. My agency, the bunk is a private room, just one room per person. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the door of my bunk room violently flinging open so hard that it slammed against the wall and left an indent behind. I'm extremely jumpy, so I immediately yelled out in my tired mom voice, "Hey, cut that out. I'm trying to sleep." There was a brief moment that I thought it was my partner, but when I stood up, I realized I could hear him snoring in the bunk room next to me. Clearly, it wasn't him. Now, as I said, I've always believed in ghosts, but I have enough survival instinct to not believe it's a ghost before believing there's a possible intruder in my station. So, cautiously, I tiptoed out of the bunk room, which is off of the living room. I immediately noticed that over 20 feet away from my door, on the opposite side of the living room, the bag of saline we have hanging on the wall for practice slash training was swinging as if something hit it. I also noticed that a large poster board with pictures of our ambulances of the past had fallen off the wall, but they were all the way across the room, and my bunk room door had been latched. So nothing happening over there could have caused my door to fling open that way. I walked further into the living room. All of the lights are still on in the building, so it's not dark and scary or anything like that. It's at this moment, as I'm standing there, trying to listen out for any movement, that something caught my attention in my periphery to my left. I look over, down the hall into the kitchen. I see, clear as day, as real as any one of us, a little girl, appearing age 6 or 7. She was walking from the equipment restock cabinets on the right side of the kitchen across the room towards the hallway where the radios are less than 15 feet away from me. This girl had not a care in the world. She had her nose up, arms swaying by her side, taking these swinging little steps with a bit of a bounce to her walk, just going about her business. She did not turn to look at me, did not pause or slow down, just kept it moving. When I tell you this was clear and real, I mean, I could see individual wisps and strands of her hair moving as she walked. She had shoulder length hair, was wearing a white baby doll style dress, and it almost looked like a nightgown, and she had black shoes. This startled the hell out of me because I immediately thought some kid from the town broke into the damn station. So I went off after her, going, "Hey, what are you?" Turned the corner to look down the hall, and there was nothing. No one is there. Now I have goosebumps, especially considering the conversation I had just had with the EMT only hours prior. I chose not to tell anyone about this. I didn't want to seem like a crazy person. In the morning, I asked my partner if he had heard anything in the night. He said he had woke up from the sound of my bunk room door slamming, but he thought it was me accidentally doing it, so he just went back to bed when he didn't hear anything else. I dropped it and moved on with my life. I knew I hadn't hallucinated that girl, but also didn't know what the hell to make of what I saw because people don't just disappear into thin air. And that was a whole entire real human that I had seen. So there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty there. Weeks go by, somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks. One day, while I'm at home in bed, I get a text from a different brand new EMT at my job. It's in the middle of the night. In the middle, or sorry, it's in the middle of the dang night. So I want to know what this 20-year-old boy is texting me for in the middle of the night. This is a guy who is brand new to the job, and I trained him from day one myself. He asked me, "Is there a ghost at the station?" So I ask him why he's asking me that. He tells me that he was sleeping in the bunk room when he woke up because of how absolutely freezing cold it got suddenly. At this moment, he and I texted each other the exact same thing at the exact same time. Quote, "Little girl, white dress, black shoes, question mark." Followed by both of us again simultaneously texting each other, "Holy shit."
Jinx.
He, he goes on to explain how he rolled over, rubbed his eyes, and saw this girl standing across from him. For reference on how absolutely terrifying this must have been for this 20-year-old kid, these bunk rooms are excruciatingly small. The opposite wall is only 4 feet away from the edge of the bed. So when he opened his eyes to see her standing there, she was so close to him, he could have reached out to her. He said, "Hello?" at her, thinking it was a hallucination or something. Rubbed his eyes and blinked, and she was still there. So he sat up in bed, blinked, and she was gone. So now I've heard the EMT tell me about a little girl playing peekaboo. Saw a little girl myself that night, and now a month and some change later, I have my EMT that I trained telling me about this experience. So now I've got to go to the boss because why the heck do we have a school age child ghost here? I approach my boss, who has worked at the agency for over a decade. I tell her, "I know this place used to be a mechanic shop before it was an ambulance station, but what was it before that?" She asks me why. I tell her, "I'm just wondering what this place was before in order for us to have a little girl ghost here." She puts her hands up and goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold on there, hold on there." Now, I'm even more confused at this point because my boss is looking jokingly offended. Like I said, the totally wrong thing. And that's when my boss drops the most bananas bombshell of information on me. She says, "Emma is not a little girl. Emma is a very tiny adult human." Imagine me tilting my head like a confused dog. My boss goes on to explain, Emma was a young woman who lived in the area and had a number of chronic health issues requiring her to go to the hospital frequently. When she was alive, she was a quote frequent flyer, but not in the negative way that most people would use this term. She was well loved by the community and the first responders who took care of her. Apparently, for whatever reason, she chose our station to be her final resting place. To my knowledge, she had never stepped foot in our station and had never been in any of the ambulances we have today. So, of course, my next question to my boss is, how do you know it's her and not someone or something else? Boss tells me she'll let me be the one to decide that. She hops onto Google and pulls up an obituary. The photo on the obituary page is a spitting image of the girl I saw walk past me in the kitchen. My jaw hit the floor. My boss, the snarky lady she is, gets this coy smile and goes, "Tell me, is that who you saw?" I still get goosebumps whenever I tell this story. Since then, I've made a point to talk to her when I'm at work, especially if I hear random noises about. My boss has told me that Emma used to be quite the trickster when she was alive, and that she was pretty good at keeping those antics up in the afterlife. My boss has been known to go out into the living room, kitchen, garage, wherever it is that Emma is making a bit of a racket to ask her to quiet down. And Emma always does quiet down when asked. multiple other new employees have reported sightings too, with one EMT asking me where the girl went because he had seen a girl looking at him from the window of a bunk room when he was walking across the parking lot. He had thought someone had brought their child to work with them. I've not seen her since that time that she appeared in front of me. Neither has my EMT coworker that I trained. Yeah.
What a
That's
story.
See,
Mhm.
if you're gonna be long-term haunted by anything, like I think I'd want somebody like Emma. Like
right.
it's okay. It's okay when
Yeah.
ghosts are a little mischievous. You know, they like to play pranks or whatever. But like, you know, it's obviously like a good spirit. Obviously there because she wants to be there. Like, you know,
Yeah.
just
Mm-hmm.
that's where she chose. That's her where she's comfortable. And I don't know. Seems like it works.
Right.
Storyteller.
Yeah.
Seems like it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It's a good relationship.
It's a healthy
Yeah.
relationship.
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's healthy until the 16th time they've slammed the door in the middle of the night and you've woken up and you're like, you know when you haven't had enough sleep and you keep getting woken up. You know that anger
Mm-hmm.
you get, you know.
Well, yeah.
mm,
Aside from that,
But Emma
I
doesn't
know.
seem like, she's doing it 16 times in the night. Yeah.
She
Just doing
seems
it
to
once or
listen.
twice.
Just
Mm-hmm.
enough to get your
Like, oh, I'm
attention.
sorry. Didn't
yeah,
mean to do that.
a polite ghost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. We need more of that. We need more of the polite ghosts.
Right.
Yes. Is your fire department haunted? Give us a call. 208-717-1611, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes. I feel like Caboose, were we on air when you brought this up? But you were like, I don't know how many calls we're gonna get in. Was that when we were already on air? But because they're
Uh,
first responders, I don't know. You brought up a great point.
That's yeah. The point
Yeah.
was I wasn't I should have been thinking about it and I just wasn't
Yeah.
I just wasn't. But like you know, when people were like, you know, I'm going to have to write in a story because, you know, I'm working like, you know,
Right.
That's
triple days right now.
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
true.
oh yeah, the first responders
sa-
are like the busiest people
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
ever.
and it's
Yeah.
Saturday of graduation weekend.
Right.
So
Oh, good
Oh,
lord.
yeah. And
Whose
we
weddings are
really
schedule
got to
happening.
does
remember
Crazy,
basic holidays. Yes, because we got
crazy amount of
great
weddings are
written
happening too.
submissions in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Talk about an emergency.
Right.
Yeah, I
Wow.
know. Dude, what a
Wow.
story. Yeah, I would like
Yes.
to. Yeah, that's crazy.
I
Yeah.
was
And
hoping. I was hoping she was going to be able to call in because when I was messaging her back and forth on TikTok, she goes, "I hope I can call in for like if you guys have any questions for me." But she's like, "I'm not sure if I'm going to be working that night, but I'm definitely going to write it. That way, you're able to at least share it." And
Mm-hmm.
there's-
it was wild. Like I just seen
yeah.
her a little snippet of a comment on something, and I was like, I reached out to her and I was like, "Would you like to tell this in like full detail?" And she's
Mm.
like, "Absolutely."
Hell
So
yeah.
I love that.
I
That
love
is
that
awesome.
shit.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And if you are listening or if you are catching that, you can still call in. We definitely got
mhm.
questions, and I'm sure there's
Sure.
stuff that wasn't included in writing. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Love to hear it. And this is also a message to or a point for other folks. You know, if you have any crazy cryptid conspiracies, if you've ever seen a cryptid, if you have a favorite local cryptid, or just know about one that you really haven't seen other folks talk about, you too can just write into the show. Doesn't matter when you do it, because we will be doing red, white, and cryptid for next month's episode, and we'll read it live. So
Mhm.
Yep.
July 5th. Boy, I hope that night I hear about a cryptid I've never heard of before.
Right.
I want to hear about the
mm,
weird ass thing you saw that you've never heard anyone else talk about.
Mhm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like a boot with eyes and it just like throws its laces out and drags itself everywhere. But it's like 3 feet tall too. Like
Oh
I want that
well.
cryptid. Give me the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
That's gonna go in our game, Gil. That
yeah.
cryptid needs to go in our game. Thank you,
Uh,
K Boost, for that. That
You're
is a
so
great idea.
welcome. You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh man,
man.
we do have one more written story that is
We do.
available to read, but we can save that for a little bit.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I feel like I feel like we'll get a caller in here. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Just feel another caller coming in. Like the last
And
episode, we had that we're getting close to the end, and then that person called in, and we're like, made the whole show.
The best story
Right,
ever.
exactly.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and if y'all can, the folks that are watching that are there, hop over into the live chat and just tell us what your favorite cryptid is. In the meantime, while we're
Yep.
waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
got to get preparation.
get our juices flowing
Mm-hmm.
for red,
Specifically,
white, and cryptid.
a campaign that I think Damien and Debooz and I are going to be spearheading coming into this next month. We're
Oh
going to
God.
have a March Madness style fight, a square off
Right.
of who is the most fuckable cryptid. Right? We want to
What?
know.
Boy.
That's right.
Me and K
So
Booz are hearing
it's
this for the first time.
What?
y'all need to read the group chat, all right? Because we went back and forth forever about this.
I
But
refuse.
yeah, no. So you're the
Yeah.
show has beer as the first brew, but y'all are intoxicated. It's last call. You just got dumped, and you're at the bar, and you look over, and what cryptid do you see
It's
that
2
you're going
a.m.
home with?
Oh,
They're not coming
man.
home with you. You're going to their house.
Well, yeah, because they wait.
Yeah.
Depending on the cryptid, you might not want to go back to their house.
Maybe not.
Bad decisions were being made that night, Joey, and we want to hear what bad decisions somebody else might make. Now, I think you got to go with Mothman.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
Because of the cake.
yeah,
Cakes.
Mothman has the Beyonce booty of like cryptids.
Oh.
Like it's just like, oh
God.
my god.
They're just so,
So
like
that would be my vote.
so round.
But what
You
if
know?
but what if
Mhm.
the glowing Bigfoot guy's there? What if he's there?
Then I would ask Mothman to escort me away.
Can you please get me away from this glowing Bigfoot right now?
Oh.
That guy's a damn
Very
stalker.
poetic.
Okay, not cool.
Now,
Yes.
what is the what are they called?
Mm.
It's like a mermaid that kills people. What are they called? Sirens or
Siren.
something like that?
Siren.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Going for the salty, sultry kind. I see.
yeah, there
Nice.
you go.
D-Booz is going for the end. Just once and then the end. It doesn't matter.
Never gonna be able to tell this tale.
Mhm. Ba-doomps.
Mm.
I mean, rich people been eating mermaids lately, so.
Oh my gosh.
good
Wait,
thing.
what? Go into that. Please go into that story. I do not. know
I'm
that
sorry.
story.
How far into the episode are we? And you still what?
That's
Rich people
like,
are eating
that's
mermaids?
been the big thing for like. Come on, somebody back me up here. Yes. It's
Where?
a conspiracy
Haven't heard
over
it.
on the East Coast. been-
No.
Catching mermaids and eating them buffet style at rich people gatherings.
What news agency are you looking into this on? Because me and Gil are not seeing
Stop.
this.
TikTok. Hello.
Oh, the best
Um,
news agency.
Yeah, but that was all over the place for like a good solid week straight, and then nobody talked about it, which is even weirder. So suspicious. But yeah, and then a couple of like fishermen who were like, yeah, we
Mhm.
work for these corporate or like these companies or whatever to catch the mermaids and bring them in for for the eating. They got on TikTok and were like, "This is my story. I saw them out there. I catch them. That's like just something I do.
Mm,
I'm the mermaid catcher."
did not come
You
across
got
that.
really?
No,
I
none
have
of
a
us
very
did.
specific set of skills.
Yeah, the mermaid
That,
catcher.
that that sounds like a story.
And they
Do y'all
are
remember-
highly unbelievable.
Mhm.
What'd
That
you say,
sounds
Davey?
that sounds like a
No.
story that you would read. Do y'all remember that little like tabloid magazine called Weekly World News?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
That sounds like something that would be in there.
Bat boy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bat boy for the win.
Oh.
Mhm. Mhm.
That sounds
Wow.
unbelievable. Like not like crazy, but just unbelievable. Like not
Right.
believable.
I don't know what to tell you. Believe what you want, I guess.
Are you pushing me on this? K-Boos, is this your
No.
stand of like this is
I'm
what you believe in?
just saying, I think
Mm.
it's a good choice for D-Booz to take home if he had to at the end of the night. Last call.
Oh, okay, good call. Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
That's
because
quite a
it's
romance too, starting
yeah.
off because it's like you save them from
Oh,
being eaten
dude,
by rich people. Like,
Hmm.
I love
yeah, this
Mhm.
these
is
crazy narratives that we create for D-Booz every
mm.
episode now. Last time he was, future
Well, he
D-Booz
went
coming
to the
back to.
yeah. He went to the future to save the mermaid in the future to
Mhm.
come
Oh, there we go.
back to
Yeah.
save to like what is it? To court the mermaid,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
in the mermaid's
Oh,
natural habitat,
nice.
SeaWorld.
See.
Of-
Oh.
I like to think that he went to the future to stop this fisherman who was going to catch the mermaids and sell
Mhm.
them off to rich folks, and then pulled off the like water jacket or whatever the fisherman was wearing, and it was him from the future. It was D-Booz.
also
Oh, in
trying
the
to save
cover,
the
and you're like,
mermaid.
what is going on?
Damn.
Now there's
This-
3D boozes. It's
this
becoming like Tenet.
story is
It's
getting
becoming like
so
that movie
juicy.
Tenet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
This
wow.
is the romance novel I've been wanting to read right
There
there.
it is.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Twists
D-Boos,
and
get on it.
turns.
Future D-Boos, write your romance novel of you and a mermaid.
And the novel's title is called Future D.
Mhm. So,
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That was good.
Yep.
mhm.
Hey, hey, Gil, what's the cryptid
Yes.
that just cries because it's so ugly?
The
Squonk.
squonk.
The squonk?
Mhm.
Yeah. You what? You,
But
okay.
it's not ugly.
You're gonna
But
go
it's
for
not ugly.
You're gonna
Well,
go for the
but
sad boys. Yes, it is.
you
Yeah,
know
that's why it's
what?
crying.
Like, if we're
Mm-mm.
talking, mythical, unreal things, creatures,
Well, it's
Yeah, we're not
probably
talking about
Aren't you in-
mermaids.
real.
yeah, I'd be okay. Like
Mhm.
making a creature that thinks it's ugly feel better about itself.
So
Can
you're
that
taking
be-
the squonk home at
can
2
that be in the
a.m.
bracket?
Okay, Moose.
Sure, I'm a nice person.
Joshua Barber. Hello. I just want to say I don't get any of this stuff. I could never be involved with this stuff. All right, Joshua. It's
Yeah,
good to
that's
know your lane. And in the meantime,
that's
that,
one of my best friends. Y'all have actually.
Oh,
That's
well, Joshua, you're
Kristen.
lucky.
Get a new best friend.
that's Josh. That's Josh.
That's Josh, who I was
Who-
gonna put in the casket.
That
yeah.
you do dirty like Aaron
Yeah.
on Ghost Adventures, and you stick him in all the places that you don't want to
Yeah.
go. I remember. Hey, Josh.
He just tuned in at a really odd fucking time. Is what
Nice.
Yeah.
It was a strange part of the conversation.
It
Josh.
was.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Uh,
that.
We
I
don't
was
get
ready
it
to
either.
fight you, Josh. I was ready to fight you.
Yeah, we don't get it either, believe us.
Get in your lane, Josh.
now
Um,
he actually.
well,
has
Josh,
some
tell us
wild,
what you could do.
He actually has some wild stories from where he works. I've been trying to get him
Hell yeah.
to send in something. I don't know.
Well, Josh, why don't you
Buddy,
call in? You don't even
if
have
you
to
were
tell us a
listening-
story. Just
Yeah.
call in and say hey.
Call us
Yeah.
because the
You know-
stories you've told me from your job is fucking insane, dude.
Be
Mm.
good to hear your voice again, man. It's been
You know, I wasn't
years.
even
Yeah.
on the first episode, and it was the only episode that I was not a part of. I was moderating the chat at that time because didn't know if I had time to add this to my life. But
Oh.
I did have a haunted workplace. The pizza place that I work at is haunted, and I go in there at like 4 a.m. sometimes by myself. It's dark, and I'll just hear stuff start creaking. Supposedly the signs on the wall will start moving. It's pretty crazy, pretty
Wow.
random, honestly. And they say it's just like because it used to be a daycare. It used to be a daycare 10 years ago, I want to say. And there's this weird above the bar. There's like a crawl space that like has no way to get up to. It's like 10 to 12 feet in the air. That is true. We challenge you to a cryptid fight. Which cryptid could you beat up? If you could beat up would you want to fight if you were a cryptid hunter? I'll just change my thought completely.
If I could sneak that in while you were telling us about your haunted pizza place.
Yep.
By the babies of the previous
No.
daycare.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty creepy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which
Which-
cryptid would you fight?
Which
Squonk.
cryptid would you fight? Put it in the chat, guys, while we're
Mm-hmm.
deciding. Squonk, you leave my boyfriend alone. You leave my big friend out of this.
We just need one of those like boyfriend pillows that squonk
Oh,
for
that would be the
K-Boos.
cutest.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd take that. Thank you,
They
guys.
they are absolutely adorable.
They are. They're so ugly.
They're
They're
so-
adorable. They're so cute.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
I
platypus.
do just picture like the Smiths. Platypuses aren't ugly. I do just picture the Smiths just playing nonstop, like
Oh.
in like a squonk's head. But that's just me.
Oh.
If I get what I want this time. That song. That's the song I think of. D-Boos, who would you fight? Which cryptid would you fight?
I'd fight Bigfoot. I could take him.
Oh, he's going, you know?
I mean, look at these guns, guys. Come on.
He is
Ugh.
feeling it today.
That's what
D-Boos, I
working a
have to
lot does
write
to
your-
you. Gives you a big head.
Didn't
feel
we
like we're going to have to
just
write
go
your eulogy.
Yeah, didn't we just go through this hypothetical, like, in the real world, and we're like, dude versus gorilla? Didn't we just have this
Mhm.
public
Yeah.
discourse?
Well, it's
Yes.
100 people. We're
100
four,
people.
you know.
Oh,
We're
okay.
four.
Yeah.
So we're double tag team matching.
Yeah, but
What would
one on
you
one.
tables, ladders, and chairs match a cryptid to?
Right.
You know what we're looking for.
Right. Oh man.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'd probably have to fight a
Well.
very tiny one. What's a real tiny one? Like a leprechaun? Is that considered a cryptid? A leprechaun?
That
think so.
no, that would. Yeah, that's kind of a. I was wondering about that the other day.
It's like
But no, a tiny
folklore cryptid.
Bigfoot would be a pugwudgie, which honestly
Be a little
are
foot.
more horrifying than Bigfoot. So like I
Oh,
wouldn't
man.
fucks with
As
them.
long as
No,
he
because
don't
they
come.
they
Mean.
come with a gang. Like they got a whole crew and they work
Mhm.
psychically. You don't want to fuck with that.
As long as he don't come running at me with a glowing dong, I'm perfectly fine. Because I'm gonna tap
then
out
why-
right
Just
I
look
gotta
out
go.
into the darkness, and you
Right,
just see
and
all
then-
these little
Just-
like glowing tic tacs, like
Is that a rave? Oh
The
shit! I'm gonna
cryptid
head
rave.
down. Oh god! Oh god!
I gotta go. Time to run. Time.
Should not have popped Molly before walking down here.
Mhm. Oh, hi, Molly.
there.
I like how the only way you'd fight Bigfoot is if he didn't start it. That's
Right.
like
Yeah. I mean, you have to
If-
fight him first.
if
It's
he
too
does
bad.
Yeah.
absolutely nothing, I'll go off on him. But I swear to God, if he gives me a reason to fight, I'm running away. That's pretty solid. That's pretty
good
solid.
stuff.
I like that. Make that first move.
Mm.
Damn.
I wonder. I do. Y'all did hear, so didn't get it out in time. I'm wondering. I might throw it up on like. You might be pushing this as a thing, but I do have a setup to start getting out a newsletter for a shit ton of really awesome like global cryptid, UFO, and strange news sources.
Mhm.
Updated pretty regularly. Would like to put together a little newsletter, start sending it out to folks because some of these stories are fucking hilarious, and I don't know a better way to learn about rich people eating, mermaids than
Right.
from a Beer, Booze, and Boogeyman newsletter. So
hmm
I don't know. If
That's the
anybody
kinda
is brave
stuff,
enough to
man.
throw it in the chat, I would love to get some feedback on people's interests. But
Do you guys want me to read a newsletter thing before we get our last story in?
go for it. Yeah.
I picked out one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got two, but I think I'll do one. All right. Psychics earthquake warnings trigger travel cancellations in Japan. Unverified earthquake predictions by a manga artist named Ryo Tatsuki, who has been dubbed Japan's Baba Vanga, has recently triggered widespread travel cancellations to Japan, particularly from East Asian countries. Tatsuki's 1999 manga, The Future I Saw, is credited with accurately predicting the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. Her updated 2021 version now warns of another major seismic event scheduled for July 2025, fueling significant public fear. This apprehension has led to a reported 50% drop in travel bookings during the Easter holiday period, with further declines anticipated over the next 2 months. Woo! This case demonstrates a direct, measurable economic and social impact stemming from unverified paranormal predictions. We all know people who do that. The perceived accuracy of past predictions lends credibility to current ones, leading to public fear, which then translates into tangible economic consequences like travel cancellations. So this is interesting. So we got us a what is it? We got us a Gil. When Gil's episode, we have us a Japanese traveler, future traveler, time traveler.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
It is. It's a little interesting.
That people are like actually like, I'm just not gonna go there.
People have always, kind of like responded around psychic predictions and stuff
Right.
like that.
Mhm.
Oh, especially if
But
more
yeah,
than
it's-
one says it. But yeah. When
I
even
th-
just one says it, you're like, you know what? I mean, it doesn't hurt just to be safe, on the safe side.
What's more shocking to me is so many people had travel plans for the year 2030 already, which is when it's supposed to happen, and people are already like, "What?"
2025, buddy.
2025, right?
2025.
Some of the
not
articles list
2030.
2030. Some of the
Oh,
articles list 2030 as the main
That
event,
is
like for what she
way
was getting into, and I'm just very confused at this point.
Gil. Unlike a lot
Yes.
of us,
Yes,
some
Joey.
people do have future plans and things that they want to do.
Mm.
I don't know
And
what you're
some
talking
people
about.
don't think about what next week, only what next week is coming, like us.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got a story to throw out there, which I am shocked you didn't pick, Joey. And this is about dinosaur sightings.
Love it.
Yes. All right. So I'm gonna butcher the name of this animal and or dinosaur or cryptid, whatever. But this is not one that I would want to fuck or fight. Point is, so the Democratic Republic of Congo, war torn as hell. Lots of crap has been going on. What's really interesting, and I'm gonna summarize because 15 very long articles. What's really crazy though is that there had been this very long history of a dinosaur being seen. So in the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's the second largest rainforest on the planet is located there, right? As war's been kind of creeping in and bombs have been going off, people have been fleeing, da 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 da, and there's been a lot of natural destruction, sightings have started to go up. For a long time, it died down when there was peace. And now that folks are like fleeing and the country's getting devastated, sightings are going up. And it's actually like leading to a theory where they're like, that natural habitat deep in the rainforest might be getting bombed, which is why it's coming back up again. Because like nobody at the time, while they're like literal refugees, is like, oh yeah, this would be a good time to hoax a dinosaur sighting, right? But it
Yeah,
has
yeah.
gotten to the point. National Geographic is going in and investigating this seriously because there had been such a long history before that of credible sightings, but then they died down when the country was more chill. So like, that's fucking nuts. And we're not talking about like a little like it's a dinosaur and then it's like the size of a baby chicken. No, this is like I don't know, triceratops size, like this
Mm.
like massive ass
Like
Damn.
dinosaur
dinosaur.
size, yeah.
Yeah, there's a. I wonder if I could. Can I
Gil.
find this video real quick? Yes.
I'm going to try to pronounce that. The dinosaur.
Good luck, bud.
Mokili Mbembe.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Mokili
sounds right.
Mbembe. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm I listened to videos with folks saying it, and I couldn't pronounce it after hearing it. So,
I like
yes.
to try to pronounce
Point
stuff
is,
depending on what it is.
I don't like to try.
Hmm.
But anything. No, but yeah, that was nuts. I had never heard of this before, but apparently there's like a long, rich history in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and there's been researchers that have been going there. There's apparently some old black and white footage of maybe one of them swimming across a massive river. Um,
Hmm.
Wow,
just nuts. So
That's cool.
maybe we'll get a dinosaur by the time we do the next episode.
never
That'd
know.
be cool. So we do have one more story that has been sent in, and it is a Kebu story. Go ahead when you are
Yes.
ready.
All right. This one is called 22 Minutes Dead, and it was sent in by Dawn B. On April 4th, 2021, which was Easter, my wife and I were headed to church, but we drove separate, so after first service, she could go heat up Easter dinner. As we were traveling, there was a lady hitchhiking, and a friend stopped and offered her a ride. And she said God told her to go to Mount Zion, Utah. He told her he wasn't going that far and that he was headed to church for Easter service, but she agreed to the ride. The name of the road the church is on is Mount Zion Road in McEwen, Tennessee. After first service, my wife left, and about that time, my pastor asked if I would talk to the hitchhiker because she smelled of alcohol. I agreed, and as I was talking with her, she fell and was having seizures from alcohol withdrawal. So I called 911 and was talking with them when all of a sudden I started feeling dizzy. I asked the guy that was with me if he would talk to dispatch because something wasn't right. When I handed him my phone, my heart stopped. I was dead for 22 minutes.
Whoa.
The church started CPR on me, and when EMS got there, they took over. They shocked me twice, and 7 minutes afterwards, they called time of death to my pastor. And then I woke up, putting everyone into shock. I heard my daughter screaming, "Daddy, don't go!" And I laughed. It was wild. Now, this is what I saw. So, in February of 2014, I lost my mom, and ever since, I've missed her terribly. But that changed. When my heart stopped, I fell, but I was still standing, if that makes sense. I didn't see me, or anyone for that matter. All I saw was a sage field and felt a warm breeze. I turned around, and there stood my mother, just as pretty as ever. She never spoke a word. She just hugged me. And as she was hugging me, there was a man standing behind her. I couldn't see his face as it was too bright, but I could see his body. He grabbed my shoulder and he said, "Wake up, sleeper. Now is not the time." My mom smiled as she stepped back, and I came to. I see things and I hear things now. I have orbs around me a lot. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Sometimes they appear in form, and it happens around noon every day. The wind blows around me. The hitchhiker survived, and she went to rehab the following day and has been sober ever since. It scared her to death. The
Dang.
end.
Damn.
And see, I know this guy too, and
Oh, yeah.
hadn't seen him in years. And he sent me a request on Facebook a few weeks ago. As soon as I accepted it, he was like, "Man, I didn't know you were into all this paranormal stuff." I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
wow.
since I was a teenager." He's like,
Mhm.
"Man," he's like, "I got some shit to tell you." He's like, "I've got some access to places, and so I think I'm lining up an investigation with him here soon." He said he's got access to a cemetery close to his house, and
Ooh, right on.
he's like, "It's pretty wild
Oh
stuff."
yeah.
And when he told me this story, I was like, "Dude," I was like, "You got to send that in." I was like, "It's not technically." He's not a first responder, but it involves a first responder.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
I'm like, and when he was sitting there telling me everything, I was like, dude, I was like, I need you to write this out for me and send it to me. And and when he was telling me about the wind blowing, like when he was messaging me that, he sent me a video. He's like, right now the wind is blowing and I'm sitting in my car, and it was
at the
Yeah,
Dang.
same time every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which I
he
take
said,
it that was when his heart stopped on that one day,
I guess
midday.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Mm.
he said now, he's like, ever since then, he's like, I'll see stuff and I'll hear stuff. And
Mm.
so you know, that's saying when people actually die and come back and they're different. I mean, that
Hmm.
does happen. He's proof of that. He was like, and then he proceeded to tell me that he's also beat cancer, and I'm pretty sure he said he's been shot twice and survived that. And I
Whoa.
told him, I was like, you're just like a fucking walking Terminator. I'm like, you just can't die. And he just, he laughed about it. He was like, man, he's like, I've been through a lot. And I was like, it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah, it was a pretty wild story when he told me that. So
Dang.
That was great. Yeah, thank you. Don B, thank you for the story. That
Thank you,
was a
Dan.
fantastic story.
You know, the idea, and I feel like I brought this up before, but it does sound so peaceful. You know,
Mhm.
that idea of just
Yeah.
like being in a sage fields and like seeing a loved one, and that has passed away sounds so peaceful. It does remind me of like the idea in I always say it because it's like Gladiator, in that scene where he's walking through the fields of like wheat. I think it's wheat with his family there, and I'm like, it just sounds. If that's how it is like that's kind of nice.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's
Gil, you're
we
on
kind
mute.
of as we do kind of start winding this thing down. I
Mhm.
do want to touch on something. Our last episode. Um, I don't think I talked very much because I had something really heavy weighing on me. 2 days before that episode, my assistant manager that I work at was killed in a car wreck, and that's why I've been having to work so much because I lost her and I'm having to cover shifts and this and that. And I haven't told none of you guys this yet. I was kind of waiting to kind of tell you guys like all together like this. So a few nights ago, it was 1 month to the day where she passed away, and I had a dream about her. And in this dream, I'm walking into the store, like I was coming in to open. It was already daylight outside, and I walk in, and she's standing behind the register, and she's like super chippy, like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And like, she wasn't a super chippy person. Like she would be in a good mood, but like she wasn't like a chipper type person. But and I was like, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? And I'd seen her in a way I've never seen her before. Once she was wearing makeup, she was like very rarely wore makeup, and she had her hair in a ponytail, but it was kind of fixed, kind of nice. But what threw me for the loop is what she was wearing. She was wearing a light blue Tennessee Titans pullover. All I ever seen this girl wear was black. Even on her days off, when she would come in, she'd be in a black T-shirt. And she was like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing good. How are you? And she's like, I'm doing great. And like in the dream, like I knew she was gone. So I was like, why is she here? And she's like, I'm doing great. And I look at her, I was like, are you messing with people? Because she knew that I'd do all the paranormal stuff. And she was like, dude, I mess with my mom all the time.
Hmm.
And I was like, hell yeah, that's great. And she grabs me by the arm and she goes, here, come here, let me show you what I can do. And she's like leading me towards the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go to the bathroom with you. She's like, oh no, it's totally fine. I sneak in people's bedrooms all the time now. And I'm like,
Oh.
well, that's great. I was like, but I'm not gonna go to the bathroom with you. And then it kind of cuts to, and we're standing outside, and the doors are open, and the woman gets out of her car, and I'm telling her, hey, we're not open yet. And she like walks right by me. I'm like, hey, ma'am, we're not open. She walks in. I'm like, ma'am, we are not open. And then I'll wake up. And anytime I wake up, I always check my phone to see what time it is. And it's like between like 4:30 and 4:40. And I remember because in my head I was like, okay, my alarm goes off in an hour. I can still get about another hour's worth of sleep. So later that afternoon, I'm telling Amanda about it, who worked with us and who's called into the show and stuff. And she's like, that's really weird. She goes, because her and Caitlin, my my assistant who was killed, and another former coworker. They all had like a little group text chat, and at 4:40 that afternoon, it popped up and showed that she had left that chat.
Mm.
And
Mm.
like I said, it was a month to the day, 12 hours from the dream I had,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that's really weird. And I was like, well, maybe that's her way of telling us, she's good. You
Mhm.
guys need to be good now. And so fast forward a couple days, and Amanda texts me, and she's like, something really weird just happened. I was like, all right, what's happening? She goes, I got in my car, and the radio started changing stations by itself. She goes, I've had this car for 3 years, it's never done that. I was like, well, what song did it stop on? Didn't stop on a song. She goes, it stopped on static. She goes, it stopped on 106.1. Nothing but static. I was like, well, did you talk, to the static? She goes, no, I changed the station. I didn't think about talking until after I changed the station. So that morning, the guy who I promoted to be my new assistant, he was he was in at 6 o'clock that morning, and he said he starts hearing this beeping. And he first thought it was our safe. When the safe is set, it beeps every couple of seconds. And he was like, I didn't set the safe, and I looked outside. You weren't there yet. He's like, but our self checkout had randomly rebooted. Has never done that in the year I've been there.
Mhm.
And he said it was at about 6:20 that morning. I'm like, well, that's weird. And I was telling my wife about it on the way home, and she just goes, we don't ever really listen to our radio, do we? I was like, no, we normally just Bluetooth whatever music we're listening to. So she turns on the radio, and I shit you not, we've had this car 3 years, have never touched the presets. One of the presets was 106.1. So we turn it on there, we turn it up, and of course it's nothing but static. And she starts talking, and she was like, is there anybody here with us? Anybody in the car with us? And she asked a couple of questions, and I swear it sounded like a female coming through, say yes or I'm here or something like that. I don't quite remember. And then she's like, I'm just gonna reach out and just she straight up. She's like, I'm gonna ask if it's Caitlin. And nothing came through. And of course, I started talking and nothing happened. Then I kind of started maneuvering stuff around in my head. Okay, the self checkout rebooted itself at 6:20 in the morning. But uh, 1 plus 1 on 106.1 is 2. Move the 6 and 20 around, that's 620.
Mhm.
So 106.1, add it together, move it around, 620, 620, 620.
You confused, but yes.
Keep
it,
going.
it was just, I don't know, it was something in my head. I'm like, all these numbers are adding up, and it's just
Okay.
been a lot of weird coincidences over the last few days since the
Mm.
Mm.
day, since it's been a month to the day.
Mhm.
And what threw me off the most, I think, was when it popped up showing she left their group chat. And I was like, well,
Sure.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, maybe, her phone, yeah, they finally shut her phone off and it pulled her out. She goes,
Mm.
well, if that was the case, it would have pulled her out of our work group chat because I had one with everybody that worked there and she was still in that one. It was only the group chat with
Uh,
those three women.
Oh wow. Huh.
Weird.
damn.
And I'm like,
Damn.
that's really strange. And I don't
Still
even think,
working.
and I don't think her mom has like retrieved any of her stuff from her car.
Mhm.
Mm.
So I'm like, her phone, as far as I know, is still in her car. So I'm like, how did she get removed from that specific group chat?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Just
don't
the
know, it was
one, not all. Hmm.
just a lot of weird
That's
things
true.
happened in the last
Mhm.
couple of
Yeah.
days, kind of based around
Damn.
her. And we had a couple weird things in the store, coincidentally, when we were talking about her that happened.
Mm.
This was, God, I guess, been 3 weeks ago now. Um, her aunt had called up there, was like, hey, could you guys, blow up X amount of balloons for us? I'm like, well, that's my assistant answered. He's like, ma'am, that's a lot of balloons. We don't really have the time to do quite that many. We could do 10 or 15, but we can't do 100 balloons. We don't have time for that. And I was talking to him a few minutes later. I was like, if she was still here, and she got that phone call from somebody, she would flat out laugh at them and tell them, no, we're not going to do that. Because that's just the type of person she was. And he walked up front, and when he walked up front to check out somebody, I seen somebody out of my peripheral walk by me. And I was like, I don't think there's anybody in the store but me, him, and who he's checking out right now. And she was already up front. So I'll walk in the direction that I saw they walked in, and I got right to where I was getting ready to round the corner, and I heard like feet shuffling across the floor. I'm like, okay, there's definitely somebody in here. Around the corner, there's nobody there. Instant cold chills, and I'm like, there's got to be somebody in the store. I go and pull the cameras, and where I walked, it should have triggered the camera to record. It didn't record me walking or coming back. Like it never triggered to record. Like something was
Mm-hmm.
preventing the cameras from recording. About 30 minutes later, me and him are standing in the same spot we were a few minutes ago, talking about her again. And we were the only two in the store, and we heard something on the aisle beside us start rattling as soon as we start talking about her. And it's just been a lot of weird coincidences over the last couple of weeks when we've been talking about her and something happens.
I hope you're writing all this down, Dee, or just some way
Yeah.
cataloging it somehow, because I think you're going to want this later after the fact to look
Yeah,
back
it's
on.
Mm-hmm.
been
Yeah,
like I
because
said,
it's a lot. Yeah,
it's been in text messages and stuff. So
yeah.
like
Okay. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
it's been I don't know. I'm not saying it is her, but it's just really odd that
Yeah.
all these things are happening when we're talking about her.
Yeah.
So I don't
Ears
know.
are burning.
So
Well, just like Dollar General, as Damien knows, even after you pass away, you can't get out of work. The text chain. But I think it's about time
it
to
is.
wrap up here. If you guys are ready for it, if you guys want to go ahead and
Sure.
lead
Sounds
off.
good.
I think we should.
Mm-hmm.
So until next month, here's a toast to the ghost in your hall.
The Bigfoot hiding in your yard.
The gray waiting for you to fall asleep.
And may your favorite cryptid go home with you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.